Ladies and gentlemen, let's Gaming Telecom video. It is indeed the 20th of December, and we all know what that means. It is, of course, the Steam Christmas sale. And so, there are some pretty good deals currently on offer, so let's kick things off with Final Fantasy VII, which is currently available for a rather good deal. It's 66% off, which means if you're paying in Great British pounds, you're going to be coughing up £3.39. Meanwhile, Americans pay $4.03. So, there's not that much to be said on Final Fantasy that I'm sure most of you don't know about by now anyway. It has of course had several re-releases, but originally started out on the PlayStation 1 and was really one of the reasons that the PS1 propelled itself above the other formats in terms of sales figures. There were numerous other reasons as well. When I was younger, I quite literally sunk hundreds of hours of my life into this title, and really it has as much as you want to give it. There are numerous arcade games that are built in once you get far enough inside the title. There are oodles of secrets and optional bosses and so on that you must kill. That's not to say that the game is completely perfect. The title now does look a little bit dated, graphically as you would expect with a game that is so old, but overall it is one of those games that I would probably recommend just about anyone with even a passing interest in RPGs try out. I'm aware that some people really don't like the turn-based combat, and even setting the battle mode to active doesn't 100% resolve this, but even so, I honestly believe it is one of the better stories out there, and in my opinion is pretty much the pinnacle of Final Fantasy. This and Final Fantasy VIII are definitely my favourites. So anyway, yeah, I would highly recommend it. Next one, Far Cry 3. It's available for a rather decent 75% off, which if you're paying in US dollars is going to make it $7.49. Meanwhile, us Brits are going to be coughing up $4.99. So a pretty good deal for, well, all of us actually. So, I should also mention, by the way, that Blood Dragon is also available for 50% off, which means it would be $7.49. So the basic premise of Far Cry 3, and I'm sure most of you are aware of this by now, is that you are on a remote tropical island, and, well, let's just say that pretty much everyone on it is going crazy. So you will need to basically rescue your friends. You play as a holiday maker that went on, well, kind of an adventure holiday along with a group of friends, and they all get kidnapped along with yourself, but you manage to escape, and things escalate pretty quickly, and it's one of those experiences that you can get quite lost in. I think that it has amazing graphics. It has this kind of shaded quality to it, and so you can see that, for example, the models of the character have kind of a distinctive outline on them, and things can seem a little bit weird. It has this very unique style of graphics that I actually really love. On the PC, which, by the way, is a pretty awesome conversion, it plays extremely well. It's not really a port. That would be a disservice to say it's a port. It is a very good version indeed. Graphics are incredible. Excellent customization in terms of graphics. FOV slider as well, which is a definite plus. It will, honestly speaking, give you hours of entertainment. I don't think there's that much more fun than going into an immensely jungle-packed environment with a flamethrower and then simply, well, burning everything and then watching the flames as they head towards groups of enemies. It's a pretty awesome experience. It is one of those titles that I would really recommend, and I absolutely love the open nature of it as a sandbox. I've been a fan of Far Cry series as a whole, and so I'd really recommend this title. By the way, I have a first impressions of both of these games on the channel. Next one, Fez. I can honestly say that I've never played it, but Amata has, and I believe she's covered it on the channel. As far as I'm led to believe, it is a 2D platformer, but you can actually rotate the view. So in other words, despite the fact that it's always 2D, you can constantly move the view around for kind of 4-axis. So in effect, you can actually see things that would otherwise be hidden. Similar-ish, I suppose, in that respect to something like Paper Mario. It's available on Steam for 75% off. That means it is $2.49. And on the other hand, if you're going to be paying with pounds, it's going to be $1.74, which is a pretty nice deal. It is widely regarded. It scores extremely well on Metacritic. And honestly speaking, it is one of those indie titles which really demonstrates that you don't need, millions of pounds or dollars to produce a really fun, cool game. So I'd recommend it purely from what Amartis said. Next one is Crysis 2 Maximum Edition. Okay, so Crysis 2. It's available for 75% off, which means it would be $7.49. Or if you're paying in pounds, let me just check that for you guys, that would be $6.24, so that's not too bad at all. It also, by the way, comes with a basically DLC, a patch, which drastically improves the graphical quality, including a new version of DirectX support. And honestly speaking, this game looks absolutely ludicrously beautiful. I crap you not, this is a beautiful game. It's worth noting that the original Crysis as well as Warhead are also on sale, all available for 75% off. I actually really love the first Crysis. Well, actually I love all the Crysis, I'm just going to be completely honest. Crysis 2 has much better control of the suit. Crysis 1, the suit control can be a little clunky. That's not to say that it's not responsive, it works, it's just switching between the various powers, for example armor mode and everything else, can take a moment, which means it's not quite as responsive as you like. On the other hand, they've redone a lot of that for Crysis 2 and makes it a lot easier. I have to confess that there is something just amazing about the overall gameplay experience about Crysis 2, or Crysis as a whole. Sure, it doesn't do anything particularly unique, but what it does do is give you a pretty awesome single-player experience that has a lot of awesome set pieces. Quality of graphics are just amazing, and really, this title needs to be experienced on a high-end PC, particularly if you're playing maximum quality at 1080p or above indeed. It just is incredible in motion. I would really recommend this, if only to give your PC a workout, but if you're interested in a slightly different take on an FPS or something a bit cool, then I'd definitely check it out. Next one, and one that I absolutely know nothing about if I'm totally honest, Train Simulator 2014. It's available for 82% off, which means it's $9.69 for the Steam edition. There's also a bunch of DLC, by the way, available for 40% off should you so desire. So much DLC that I can't even list it. There's like 147 pieces of DLC for this sucker. I'm sorry. Did I say Train Simulator 2012? I meant to say Train Simulator 2014. Regardless, these type of titles typically never have interested me at all, and I can honestly say that I know extremely little about it. It scores okay on Metacritic and other websites, it's getting like 7s out of 10s and that type of thing. I, honestly speaking, can't give you any real advice on the game. I'd recommend, you do a bit of Googling, maybe watch a couple of videos on it or something similar, and you might have a bit more of an idea. Sorry, can't play everything. Next title available for 40% off, which means it's $11.99, or if you're paying with Great British Pounds, you're going to be paying $8.99 is never. I've not actually tried this title out myself, if I'm totally honest. Graphically, it looks quite nice. It builds itself to be a massively multiplayer RPG simulator, and of course is played in the first person. Now, I've looked at some Metacritic and a few other reviews, and honestly speaking, by the way, this game only supports 64-bit operating systems at the moment, just so you guys are aware. Now, this game, as far as I'm aware, seems to fall into two camps. Some people absolutely love the game, whereas on the other hand, there are a bunch of different reviews which are giving it extremely low scores. A couple of people on Reddit have also said buyer beware and pointed out a couple of issues. Now, I don't know if this is limited to the fact that it's a beta. and I don't know enough about the game. I haven't read that much about its development yet. So I'd recommend you do your research, like a good amount of research, before you purchase this one. It does look pretty cool from the screenshots, but as we know, that doesn't necessarily mean or preclude the fact that it's got some problems. Next up is Chivalry Medieval Warfare, which is currently available for 75% off on Steam. That means that if you're paying in British pounds, you're going to be paying $4.74. Meanwhile, if you're paying in dollars, it's going to be $6.24. So, I can honestly say this is the other title I've not played, but holy crap, do I constantly get told this is a really good game. I'll be honest, I actually took a look at it and I wasn't sure based on just a little bits of footage, but then I did some more research and it's really critically acclaimed by players. It scores fairly well on Metacritic and other websites, but a lot of people who have tried it out were actually surprised with how good it is. I can honestly say the only reason I've not personally played it that much is because, well, I'm just kind of sick of medieval type of games for a while. I've, just kind of want to break from them because I played so bloody many in terms of reviews, so I just skipped this title. I just haven't had time to go back. If you're interested in this type of game, I'd probably recommend you do a little bit of research, but it certainly doesn't look bad. So if you're watching this video and you've only got a few minutes to decide, for the price, I'd probably recommend you take the risk because it does look pretty good and does seem pretty good from what I'm hearing. Next one we're going to be taking a look at is Omerta, City of Gangsters, which is available for 75% off, which brings it to $9.99. Meanwhile, if you're paying in pounds, it's going to be $7.49 to you, good sir or good lady. I have done a first impressions of this, so I'd recommend that you check that out. It's a pretty simple idea, really, and it is a little bit of a nod towards Gangsters, organized crime. Now, there is a demo of this available, so I'd recommend that you check that out first, but the basic premise is that you slowly start to take over a criminal empire, and of course you play it in kind of a simulation strategy type of way, but you can also get a lot more involved, so it's very similar-ish to XCOM in that respect, but plays pretty well. Storyline wasn't too bad. I enjoyed my time with the game. I would recommend that if you're interested in the mafia / crime type of games, that at the very least you consider downloading the demo. Controls are pretty solid. Storyline's pretty decent. There's not any huge bugs that I'm personally aware of. So yeah, go forth and buy. Last up on our daily deals is Shogun 2 Total War. Well, actually, it's Total War Shogun 2, but whatever. You get the idea. It's available for $7.49 if you're, of course, paying with American dollars. Meanwhile, us Brits get to cough up $6.24. I haven't actually tried any of the Total War series, and I know that you guys are probably gasping in pure shock right now. It scores, however, extremely well and has won numerous awards. There's a demo of it available. What I would recommend, honestly speaking, if you're unsure about the game, just go ahead and try the demo. Because it's one of those type of situations where it just makes that much more sense than, doing anything else. Just check the demo out. Obviously, there are, Rome 2, there has been Rome 2 announced, or even launched, shall I say, but still, this is a very solid experience. I also understand that Rome 2 has some bugs. I'm unsure how many of those have been resolved. My understanding is quite a few, but that certainly doesn't take away anything from the enjoyment you're going to feel from Total War Shogun 2. Anyway, that's just about it for this particular video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.